And pretty soon you're reading books you wouldn't expect to read. You're reading every bill about the crypto industry going through Congress. So it sucked me into the state of being a student again. And most of the time, you think once you're past the age of 20 something, you're not a student anymore, right? You don't need to be a student. And Bitcoin taught me that I really needed to go back and relearn everything. I needed to relearn economics. I needed to relearn politics. I needed to relearn, technology.
Bitcoin is an active sort of asset.
Sort of asset.
Yes. In the sense that it will do things to you. Okay.
Like steal your girlfriend.
It can steal your girlfriend. It could be like your girlfriend and massage you by the neck. Or massage your girlfriend.
Or actor.
Mentally.
When it's popping to the moon.
Well, actually,
You look at the actor, you man.
they say women like mental stimulation. But I like to believe that everybody likes some mental stimulation. Okay. Yeah. But there's not many things on this earth that can stimulate you mentally like Bitcoin can. How about that one? I am coming through.
Meet me outside.
And your mind shall be stimulated. Well, for me personally, okay, I would say that I was extremely mentally stimulated by Bitcoin. So much so that it forced me to do many other things. But before I tell you about some of the things that I engaged in after this mental stimulation from these digital assets, I'm assuming that you had some mental stimulation from Bitcoin as well.
Hey, man. We'll talk about it. Let's talk about what matters right now.
Definitely. We'll tell you all about it right after we hear how Michael Saylor was deeply mentally stimulated by this incredible asset. Okay. So, with no further ado, all right, let's jump right into it.
It led me to go back and reread all of world history, and then it led me into 1,000 podcasts, and then it led me to listen to dozens of podcasts, on Bitcoin development and study the Bitcoin wars, and then start thinking about, and then it led me to think about the rest of the crypto industry, and then it led me to go back and listen to every word uttered by Gary Gensler, in a class he taught at MIT 2 years before I even knew I cared about Bitcoin. And pretty soon you're reading books you wouldn't expect to read. You're reading every bill about the crypto industry going through Congress. So it sucked me into the state of being a student again. And most of the time, you think once you're past the age of 20 something, you're not a student anymore, right? You don't need to be a student. And Bitcoin taught me that I really needed to go back and relearn everything. I needed to relearn economics. I needed to relearn politics. I needed to relearn, technology. And then and that led me to go back and look at my own company again and say, maybe I need to rethink how we're going to use this. And that led us to issuing convertible bonds to buy Bitcoin. And that led us to thinking about issuing equity to buy Bitcoin. That led us to thinking, well, it's not enough that we learn how to do it. We need to educate other corporations on how to do it. When I discovered Bitcoin, or when I first bought Bitcoin, I was ready to retire. I thought I had served more than 30 years as a public company CEO. I thought, I have nothing left to prove in the world. There's not much for me to do. I'll just go ahead and retire and gracefully disappear from history. And Bitcoin plopped itself into my life and first teased me and then seduced me. And then it dragged me onto that stage today. Right? And so I was dragged onto a world stage, and I found myself now, instead of quietly retiring, I was now drawn into a role of advocacy such that I would get on a plane and fly to Sao Paulo or fly to Uruguay or fly to Prague or and obsess over things that I never need to obsess over and go back on CNBC or go on Fox, go on television and or sit down and record 1,000 hours of podcast. And these are all things that I discovered late in life. I would say I'm a late bloomer, right?
You don't
Like
say.
I'm much older than the average Bitcoiner, right? And so it's like, how did this all happen? And I think it's Bitcoin inspired me, maybe inspired me, catalyzed me. So it changed how I spend my time. It changed my intellectual interest. It changed our corporate strategy, and it gave me a mission, and I felt compelled to do it.
All right. It gave him a mission. I gotta write that one down. Talk to us, sir.
We started out this with a joke, but have you ever met that girl that would ever inspire you by teasing you,
Tease you
seducing you,
and then drag you.
dragging you up and down? You're like, man, I'm so in love with you right now. You just don't know.
Listen, brother, I think I've met that girl before, man. Let me tell you. Once upon a time,
Time.
when young Brazen was still navigating the wall of dating, blinded by beauty and naive as shit by the nature of women, okay? I took this chick out to dinner. Well, first I took her out to breakfast, where I spent over $150 because she wanted to go to a fancy place.
That was nothing. That was back then, though.
Brother,
right?
that was back then, man. $150 was heavy, bro. I was not have time to go and spend this kind of money. Okay, I think it was 150. I was coming close to 200 on that situation. And I got nothing. I was teased. And I told myself that I'm not going to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Like this chick, when I was her, I did not get this, did not lead to anything. But then she seduced me to do it again. We went out to lunch, where she dragged my wallet for another $100 and something. And I got nothing.
I mean, you're not supposed to expect something.
Sir, I'm supposed to expect something. What do you mean?
You're going on getting submit? No.
When she came out, she was expecting something, right? She was expecting lunch.
Your wallet.
She was expecting me to pay for the dinner. She was expecting me to come and pick her up at her house. But on the other end of that,
You got dragged up and down. Straight.
I got dragged up and down the street. And very much like Michael Saylor here, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay. That was until my soul was revived by a next level of teasing, seduction, and dragging through Bitcoin. What do you think I was going to say? I know someone probably thought I was going to say by another woman, but please, no. Okay. Because you see, what will happen here is that Bitcoin will revive your soul. Okay. Even though I was down at that moment, very much like Michael Saylor when he was approaching this sunset phase of his career there, he was revived by learning about Bitcoin, brought back into full passion. I mean, look at the guy.
Oh, gee.
He seems wired up, ready to learn more and more.
Mm.
Go ahead.
They say readers are leaders.
Mm.
To our leaders today,
Yeah.
read. When was the last time they read? Do they even read those congressional documents that they sent? That the lobby companies come to send up?
Yeah, they're far away from reading. They cannot put a sentence together. They keep forgetting what they have to say.
Right? So as you can see,
Yeah.
Bitcoin can make you become a leader.
Yeah.
Because it forces you to read.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what has happened to me as well.
Yeah.
Because now I'm now being forced to rethink technology. Oh, the old IP address of a thing. Does it really have to be that way? How do you secure well, let me not make it too complicated for you guys, for we IT people. How do you transfer value from one location to another in a secure way?
Yeah.
Right? It makes you become a student of politics, a student of the economy. Because before I found Bitcoin, I used to believe that we needed to print more money to fix our problems. That was the old Kenny.
Yes. You know, when it comes to fixing your problems, I think information is power,
Mm.
right? But you see, this information is not something that will fix everyone. For example, Gary Ginsler,
Mm, mm, mm.
as Michael Saylor had mentioned there was a course which Gary Ginsler taught at MIT on blockchain technologies. This involved Bitcoin. I have watched that course,
Likewise.
all of it. This was at the point in time when I was starting to grasp Bitcoin. Bitcoin was starting to sink into my mind. My mind was turning onto it, and it sent me down the rabbit hole. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. If education is not your strong suit, but you have passed elementary school, which means you have a basic level of reading,
Mhm.
I suggest you start trying to learn Bitcoin. Just attempt it. Because the moment when it clicks, read that book or any of these books. The moment it starts to click, you will find yourself going down a rabbit hole of forced education where your mind is heavily stimulated, or you could say teased, to reach further and dig for further information. You see, yeah.
Dig into the STAKK YouTube channel
Exactly.
and look at our past videos.
We have over 1,000 videos, ladies and gentlemen, where we have spoken about Bitcoin from multiple angles,
Mhm.
from a geopolitical standpoint, from a normal economic standpoint, from a relationship standpoint, but not really, just because we're trolling. Nonetheless, we were able to make that connection. Have no fear. One day we're going to face that one head on.
From a religious point.
Really? Listen, we have not even cracked that one fully. I'm coming back to that one. All you Christians are going to get mad at me. I don't care. But here's the thing. Austrian economics. I did not even know these words until
Existed.
I started to learn about Bitcoin.
But I went to school and I was an A+ economics student.
Come on now.
Mm.
Wall Street seemed like a very complex situation until I got Bitcoin and I was like, all of these people are clowns.
Forget options.
There is no way you guys think that what you're doing is serious.
Mm.
It fired up the activism within me.
Mm.
It gave me a different type of purpose. When I look at Africa today, I see a different path towards.
Savior from the colonization.
Come on now.
One of our biggest videos right now.
Come on now. Okay. And all of the people in the comment section in that video, 90% of y'all are ignorant.
You have not learned about Bitcoin yet.
Come at us. We do not care. Listen, this is one of the things that I thought was most important for me. I'll give it two. Very much like Michael Saylor is saying there, I found that Bitcoin made me more selfless.
Mm.
It made me think of things on a wider scale. It made me care more about my
Humanity.
finances,
Yep.
your finances, and saving the value that you have worked so hard for yourself and for your future generations, instead of other people printing money away, devaluing your hard work, and stealing from the future of your children. Not even your future. Your future is already finished when it comes to the fiat standard. We're talking about future generations owing money before they are even born. Finally, for me, Bitcoin put me in a mindset where, because of the amount of information that I have soaked, ingested, accumulated over these few years, we were actually, both of us did this, we were able to strategically take risk for 1K activity, which is now yielding incredible rewards. I think Michael Saylor would agree with that. I think the president of El Salvador would agree with that. And I think anyone who opened their mind to Bitcoin, heck, even the people who went and bought the ETF would attest to that as well. So once Bitcoin clicks in, you will be set on a mission. And I think that mission is different for everyone. I think the Bitcoin maxis have run their mission. Maybe there is much more for them. but I think that it's always evolving because Bitcoin continues to hit us every day with things that we did not expect. Many different things coming through. No one owns this thing. No one can predict what is next. So I'm very much in alignment with what Michael Saylor is saying there. The Bitcoin mission is one that humanity has never seen before, and one that we should all be very excited about. Double up.
You said humanity. I would like to end with that.
Yeah.
One of our biggest problem right now in this world, we could say human pollution,
Mm.
but directly forced human pollution, right? These human beings that do not care about the environment, human beings that do not care about their neighbors.
Mhm.
We can see the wars that we have going on around the world, all because of greed, all because of gold, and all because of the reason to accumulate fiat.
Mm.
Bitcoin eliminates that. But we will not tell you how it does that. We'll give you those details in another video. Bitcoin saves the world.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, save this video by liking, subscribing, and sharing with your friends.
Yes.
And if you would like to know more about how Bitcoin saves the world, leave a comment down below, and we'll definitely be sure to get back to you. Until next time, present out.
Double O.